Thank you for joining the beginners ad section. So my name is Hui Qi. I'm an Amazon ad specialist in the regional ads marketing team. And basically, it's very exciting. This is our first Amazon ads physical workshop for 2023. And thank you for taking the time down to come and see us. And I hope you get to network with other sellers today as well. Essentially, this workshop is going to take you through what essentially sponsored ad type to run as a new seller and what we will recommend to you. We'll give you an overview of what our sponsored ads are. And of course, I'll take you through a step-by-step walkthrough of how to set up your very first sponsored products automatic campaign. This is a beginner workshop, so I'll try to be as patient and also step-by-step with you as much as possible. And towards the end, we'll also take you through what are some of the new seller incentives that you can take advantage of as a new seller. And along the way, please let me know if you have any questions. We will have a Q&A section, and feel free to ask any questions for us as well. And let's get started. Also, along the way, please, as I mentioned, please feel free to take photos of the slides if you find anything useful, so you can remind yourself and just refer to your pictures next time when you're setting up your first campaign. So jumping straight into it, I'll take you through an overview of what Amazon ad products there are and what are our self-service solutions. So before that, actually, did you know that 74% of Amazon customers actually come into Amazon in a very discovery mood? 74%, and half of them actually look for new brands and products that they're not actually exposed to before, and they come in with a very discovery mindset. So this means that by promoting your products with Amazon ads, you will be present at every point where the shopper is clicking through the Amazon site, and you can connect your brand story with these customers. So a lot of sellers, actually, when I speak to them during the Seller Summit, they always ask me the same few questions, like, how do I sell more? I think that's the biggest question that everyone always wants to ask. But I think a very important question, especially as a new seller, new brand, new business, you really need to ask, like, how does the Amazon customer, explore on the Amazon page itself? What is their consumer journey? When someone logs on to Amazon, they're actually really looking to discover. So I just want to go through the cycle of discovery, essentially. So as I mentioned, 74% of shoppers actually use Amazon to look out for new products, new brands. They come in looking to look for example, toys. So they'll search toys in the search bar. But what they're actually looking to do is to discover any new brands and any kind of brands or product at a certain price point that will draw them to your brand store. So essentially, what we want to do is to lay a good foundation for our Amazon ads. You want to be present at important placements, for example, top of search. Or for example, if a customer is searching for toys, they might click on a Lego toy store. But maybe your product can appear alongside the Lego toy store as well. And that gives you an equal playing ground for you to be exposed and expose your brand story to these new customers. So essentially, what you want to do is to help increase views and traffic to your product detail pages, which will then help you to increase sales. And as you increase sales, it also helps to increase your customer reviews, and that helps new customers to build trust with your brand. And I'll take you through the ad solutions that can help along every step of this journey. How can you improve your product listing page? How can you tell a really nice brand story that can get customers to feel more brand love towards your store? So this is what we will often call the full funnel basically model. So along the whole funnel of a customer, all the way from being aware of your brand, so driving awareness of your brand to your to your page, to your store, for example, we will want to help you reach a relevant audience of Amazon shoppers who are exposed to your brand. And then subsequently, once they are exposed to your brand, or they see that there's Hui Qi brand of toys, you want them to repeatedly consider and also build purchase intent by telling your brand and product story. So, for example, you want your brand store to have beautiful videos. You want to have at least, for example, 5 high-quality images. So you essentially get the opportunity to tell a really interesting brand story to help you differentiate versus your competitors. So that will help you build consideration. And lastly, of course, you want to be present when shoppers are ready to buy. For example, when a consumer searches toys, you realize that they're not going to search beyond the second to third or fourth page, right? Most consumers naturally look at the top of the page, and you'll want to appear there when they're searching for it. So I'll walk you through each of those solutions in a moment, but okay, so firstly, I think what Amazon Ads can help you do is that we give you the full funnel ad solutions all the way from awareness, consideration to purchase. And basically, you meet consumers where they are at, where their mindset is at. Are they ready to make the purchase, or are they just looking to browse around? Secondly, I think Amazon also has really great brand building opportunities where you basically will help you build your brand to generate awareness, create a brand story, inspire basically people to have brand love towards your new brand, and grow loyalty. And I think lastly, what's great about Amazon is that we are a very, very transparent company, so you'll get a lot of measurement solutions. So you shouldn't really base your advertising based on guesswork, based off of impressions, for example. So we have a lot of measurement and attribution solutions where you can download reports and find out what search terms are working for you, which ad placement is generating the most sales for your product. And in subsequent webinars, probably not today, but please stay tuned to our webinars, we'll definitely also take you through a guided walkthrough on, for example, our reports and how to read and understand the reports. So firstly, I want to take you to a quick overview of Amazon self-service solutions. So maybe some of you might be already using it, or you might be completely new, it's fine. This is a really broad overview of our solutions and what we offer to you. I will take you through one by one, but essentially the very first product that I want to introduce to you is sponsored products. So this will be your revenue driver. Just to set the tone. So for new sellers who have never launched a campaign, I highly recommend starting with sponsored products. Essentially, this will be cost per click ads. So you're charged only when someone clicks on your ad. And essentially, they're highly visible placements, for example, on top of search, where essentially you bid for keywords or bid for products that your business is operating in. Secondly, we will have sponsored brands and sponsored brand video. So this is where I would say it's actually my favorite format. I think it's the format where you can really build your brand. So essentially, you're basically going to appear at very, very highly visible placements. Once you search toys, for example, your store as well, your ad placement of sponsored brand will appear, showing your top 3 most highly selling products. Or you can even create a video format, and it will essentially really draw and capture a lot of eyeballs. So that's sponsored brands. The third option will be sponsored display. So sponsored display essentially is display banners that appear all over the Amazon e-com site. So it's interesting because you can appear not just on your own product detail pages, you can appear on the most popular page, you can appear on your competitor's page, but it also means that your competitors can appear on your page. So over the course of the next few weeks, you'll learn how to bid on sponsored display as well. So we can build up different strategies for advertising. So for example, there's also defensive advertising where you lay out your entire store with your display banners. So that's sponsored display as a preview. And for these 3 solutions, they're cost per click solutions. So meaning you are only charged when someone clicks on your banner ads. Lastly, we have Amazon Demand Side Platform, which is the last one. That's not cost per click, but essentially what Amazon DSP does is that it helps you reach audiences who are off Amazon as well. So for example, we have partner platforms, for example, like Twitch or Amazon Prime Video. There's the opportunity for you to showcase your brand and your ads on those platforms as well. A point to note is that sponsored brands and sponsored display are only available to sellers that are in the Amazon brand registry. Yeah, so going into sponsored products, if you ask me again, like this is the easiest way to kickstart the campaign, and this is what we will be touching on today. Sponsored products, there are two methodologies, two key formats. One, it will be sponsored product automatic, which does all the heavy lifting for you. You let the Amazon system essentially run your ad, which we recommend ideally for 2 weeks. And by the end of 2 weeks, what you'll get is essentially a report in terms of what ad placements, what product kind of targeting is the most highly converting for your business. So that's SP automatic. And secondly, there is SP manual targeting. So I would say that's more on the post 2 weeks. What we want you to do is to move from automatic targeting to manual targeting, where you can refine again in terms of which specific keyword or which specific product is going to help increase visibility on your business and your products in the shopping results, on product detail pages. But as I mentioned, SP Auto will be the solution we'll be focusing on today. Yeah, so just as a preview, you'll probably search in the search bar for your products, and the sponsored product tiles that appear with the word sponsored, that's sponsored products. And again, it's either automatic or manual. Automatic, the system will just allocate which placement that your product will appear on. Yeah. And there are different placements. So within the product detail page, there are also tiles where basically your sponsored products can appear at, not just on top of search. There's product detail pages. There's also on mobile and tablet. So that's sponsored products, and that's I would say, the bread and butter of our Amazon Ads solution, and highly encourage everyone to try. Secondly, what we have is sponsored brands. It's a customizable cost per click ad solution that helps customers discover, engage with your brand as they shop. The differentiator of a sponsored brand is that it has very rich creative. What I mean is that you can even include a video, and we have research to show that video is proving to be really, really effective in terms of driving sales on Amazon, because you see so many static images and a sudden video pops up. It's going to be very eye-catching, right? And if you really upload a very interesting video, a useful, emotional type of a video, people are going to pay attention to it. So that's the sponsored brand format. There are 3 key formats. One, it will be product collection. So this is an example of product collection. So when you search, if I'm not wrong, diapers, so your brand will appear, and it will show your 3 most popular, most optimized listing for people to click on. Secondly, it will be a store spotlight. So another format is that it will click through to your store exclusive. It's like your own storefront. And thirdly, it's the video format that I've mentioned previously. Lastly, I think it will be sponsored display. So with sponsored display, you can help drive awareness, consideration, and conversion with automatically generated display ads. They showcase your product, and they appear both on and off Amazon. And they offer both 2 types of targeting. So you can target products. So you can target, for example, diapers, for example, or you can even target audience in terms of targeting. So you can target exclusively, for example, moms, right? You're trying to sell diapers, so you can choose moms that you want to target. Or actually, you can even include, for example, a certain age group. So that's the 2 kinds of targeting. The format essentially are display banners that appear all over the Amazon site. They can also appear on the product listing page, yours or the competitor, and you can target based on audience interest and behavior data that Amazon has as well. And on top of these 3 self-service solutions, we have another solution called Amazon DSP to help you reach off Amazon more deeply, which we call demand-side platform. This solution is unfortunately not self-service, but rather it's a customized solution for selling partners to reach off Amazon on sites like Twitch and Prime Video. this should be operated with the Amazon sales team. So especially for today, for new sellers, I would not touch on this. But please feel free to reach out if you are interested. And I also want to draw your attention to other free self-service solutions for your business that you should definitely leverage. So we have solutions like stores, posts, brand follow, Amazon Live, and Amazon distribution. So I'll briefly touch on each. So I think the easiest and also the low-hanging fruit you should definitely capitalize on is stores. So what you're doing is basically building up your own store on on Amazon, right? It's like your own physical store but online. It's a unique format because no ads are allowed on your store. So you have all your customers' attention if you manage to direct them to your store, and you can essentially list your product with 4 or more pages. And again, you can choose sponsored brands where you can direct customers to your stores. Secondly, it will be posts. So posts is like a free social media for Amazon, essentially. It's a free browse and discovery experience on Amazon, focused on very much brand shopping. They'll help you, help shoppers, again, discover brands, new products. And again, it functions a little like social media. They link to your product detail page. You can make each post in a feed shoppable. So that's one free tool that you can definitely leverage. Again, you need to be Amazon brand registered to take advantage of posts. Next will be brand follow. So brand follow is actually very simple. It's simply like a subscribe button or like a like button on Instagram, for example. So what you want is essentially get people to follow your brand so they get the latest updates on like your new product launches, etc. And then fourth, we have Amazon Live. So this is exclusive to sellers that are selling to US. You can try out Amazon Live, essentially, basically your live streaming. This is partnered, it's a partnered service, so please let us know if you're interested in this. Otherwise, I'll move past it for now. And lastly, Amazon Attribution. Again, this is a measurement solution. You'll essentially find out with attribution what channels are driving customers to your site, to your product detail pages. So you'll get insight in terms of how your cross-channel marketing activities are helping you to drive shopping activity. You basically learn whether you're paid, for example, like your Facebook posts, your Instagram stories, are they leading to sales on your Amazon product detail pages? So Amazon Attribution is essentially the measurement solution that you can leverage to find out, for example, should you shift investment from Facebook to Instagram, or is there any other sites like YouTube ads that are actually driving more traffic to your site? So how do we connect the dots on all these different solutions? I think your key takeaway today is 3: sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored display. So that's your full funnel ad solution. Again, awareness and upper funnel, what we call upper funnel solutions, would be sponsored display, sponsored brands. So basically just getting as much awareness, as much exposure to your brand and your product as possible. And I would say sponsored products is like your striker in a soccer team. So it's most important to leverage sponsored products when you really want to score a purchase with your shoppers. You need to be present when they're ready to make a purchase. Secondly, I think brand building opportunities. If you are, again, I recommend for new brands, but as a more established brand, your advertising goal might change. You might want people, you already know you have customers buying your products, but you want your customers to continuously repurchase. You want to remarket to people, build brand loyalty. You can definitely take advantage of our brand building opportunities like sponsored brands, stores, brand follow. And lastly, I think, again, I want you to take away that Amazon is very transparent. You get 9 different reports actually in terms of what advertising mechanic is working for you. You can get campaign reporting, stores insights, post engagement metrics, Amazon attribution, essentially to find out across the entire advertising journey what is working for you and what is not working, and you can eliminate, reorganize your budget. So that's the overview. Now I'll jump straight into Kickstart with Amazon advertising. So here you'll learn about specifically sponsored products, which I mentioned is the number one format I want you to take away today. You'll learn about the advertising console. So where do you go to get started with launching your very first campaign? I'll take you through a live demo of how to set up one sponsored product automatic campaign. And after that, we'll have the Q&A. So as I mentioned, sponsored product is essentially your key for growth. A lot of our internal research shows that over a long period of time, essentially sponsored products will help you drive at least a 40% increase in unit sales, increase in impressions, as well as more glance views. Essentially, I would also like to point out even more strength. You'll find that after 6 months, sponsored products in a non-domestic marketplace, meaning if you're selling to US, Europe, overseas, not Singapore, sponsored products on average account for 37 to 41% of your total sales in the marketplace. That's why I find that it's a really important kind of tool for you to understand. And it's also highly efficient. I think that's something that we want to push across for sponsored product. It actually will help you to generate really high return on your advertising spend. Many times when I speak to sellers or I look at their dashboards, you'll find that the automatic campaigns are the most efficient. They're usually the ones helping you drive a lot of clicks and conversions. So it's important to know this product well. So again, how do you actually get started with sponsored product? How should I start? So we really recommend as a very first campaign to start with an SP automatic campaign. So your goal in this automatic targeting campaign is to really just expand and collect keywords. So as a new brand, for example, I'm selling toys again. So what exact keywords are the ones are your customers searching for? So the automatic campaign will help inform you after 2 weeks. What are some of the keywords? Is it toys for babies or toys for toddlers? Is it very specifically sock toys, for example? So you will get a full report in terms of what are the most high-performing keywords that will lead to the highest clicks and orders. So the system will help automatically expose your products to potential customers based on your listing quality and previous metadata from Amazon as well. So subsequently, after automatic targeting, after 2 weeks of running your auto campaign, we recommend that you shift to manual targeting or run at least one additional manual targeting. After looking at your report and looking at your ads console, where under manual targeting, there are 2 methodologies. You can target with keywords or you can target via products. So as I mentioned, I'm selling toys. When you download the report and you filter by the highest clicks and orders, you'll see that, for example, my highest performing keyword will be toys for toddlers, right? And secondly, you'll also kind of see where the placements it appears at. So probably my highest converting placements will be top of search. On the other flip side, it's also possible that a lot of people actually don't come to your listing first. They could go to your competitor's listing first. So when people search toys for toddlers, might be competitor B. But if you appear on competitor B's page in your automatic campaign where we serve your listing under your competitor's product detail page, actually people click on your sponsored ad. So actually that is product targeting. You can actually choose to target via products, competitor products, or complements or substitutes. And essentially you build up a more detailed picture of which placements, which keywords are working for you. So you invest more budget behind what's working for you. And maybe you'll find that there are some keywords that are completely irrelevant. Maybe as a seller, you think, I'm selling sock toys, they're really important, so I bid for sock toys. But actually, you might find that it's not converting for you. Nobody actually searches for sock toys, right? They could be searching for a competitor. So you can adjust your budget, you can take out keywords that are irrelevant. So that's the whole process of optimization with manual targeting after that. So as I mentioned, it's a cost-per-click advertising solution. You'll appear on highly visible placements. For example, here we're searching for pots. So you'll appear essentially in the top of search page. you can select the individual product listings you want to advertise, or under manual targeting, you can choose keywords or product attributes to target. And what you can control is essentially how much you want to bid. So you're recommended to set a daily budget and also a total duration budget and subsequently measure your ad performance. But we give you the flexibility of how much you want to spend, and you can adjust your bids anytime. So I've been seeing the word placements quite a bit. So here are some overview of what placements there are. So there's definitely top of search. So when someone search, you just appear at the first page, top of the page. You also appear at bottom of search, and you also appear on product detail pages. So when someone clicks on a specific listing, your sponsored products can also appear in certain product detail pages. And of course, it's definitely adjusted to mobile and tablet apps as well. And I think the next important thing is to know advertising console. So if you will join our future webinars, we'll definitely be taking you through a more deep dive of what an advertising console is. This is where you'll track your campaign performance. I'll also kind of show you a demo account of advertising console later. But essentially, it will be on Seller Central, under advertising, and under campaigns, where you can see essentially your spend, your number of clicks. There are lots of data that you can self-service and learn from. So we really want people to be familiar with advertising console. So reminder, you can find it on Seller Central, advertising, and under campaigns. And here I would say it's a 30-day guide for new sellers, what you should do in the first few days of preparing to set up your Amazon ads campaign. I think the first step, instead of saying I want to launch an ads campaign, I think the first step is definitely to set up really good optimized listings. So you need to prepare before your ads. I would highly also suggest to new sellers that many times ineffective ad campaigns or really high spending, low ROI campaigns are due to bad listings. There's not enough product images, not high quality enough, not high resolution enough. You need to have 4 to 6 very concise bullet points telling consumers what you're selling. And I think something very interesting is that you should definitely be looking at Google reviews, for example, or even talk to fellow customers that are buying your product. How do they search for the product? What terminologies are they using? And include that in your product detail page, in your listing, and then review your listing page. Put on A+ content, right? Put in beautiful images so that consumers build trust and credibility on your listing page. So that will be the first step before you set up a successful advertising campaign. Secondly, I think between day 5 to 15, firstly, you set up SP automatic targeting. So as I mentioned, it's the first step to expand and collect effective keywords that are generating the hardest sales for you in the first 2 weeks. Right? I think it will give you a good judge in terms of how to position your products. You might find very interesting information. For example, people are coming from your competitor's listing page. Maybe you can take a look at your competitor listing page and see how you can optimize your listing post the 2 weeks. It will also definitely help you increase exposure. So Amazon will automatically place your products in placements that give you the highest amount of exposure, amount of awareness, that leads to the highest probability in terms of clicks and orders. And lastly, I think definitely the goal is to increase traffic to your product detail page and then subsequently lead to some cumulative sales. And then once after 2 weeks you're done with automatic, shift to manual. So actually I do recommend keeping one auto always on. Essentially this is to ensure that you keep up with consumer trends, how they're clicking, how they're searching for products. So you consistently have an idea along the entire timeline of what is the most effective for you. But I would suggest turning on SP manual subsequently, essentially to target specific keywords. So from the first automatic targeting, you might find these 30 keywords are working the best for me. They lead to the highest amount of sales. So I'll take out the 30 keywords, I'll put it in a separate ad group, and I'll bid slightly higher, 10 to 20% higher. And that will lead to be your hero ASINs, your hero keywords, hero ad group. And that's where you should invest the most. And then you can also assess which are the lowest click-through rates, lowest ROI keywords, and you can remove them. So that's for SP manual. And subsequently, for the rest of your journey, is definitely to optimize your ads consistently. So you can definitely leverage our reports to analyze advertising data and optimize your campaigns. And also, please do join our advertising webinars. We'll have ACOS deep dives, bidding deep dives, targeting deep dives, where we will teach you how to optimize your ad campaigns in detail. So just a recap in terms of auto-targeting, when to use it, actually recommend always on, but especially for new sellers with no experience, this is the best and easiest tool to leverage. Secondly, if you're planning to launch a new ASIN, maybe you've already launched your automatic campaign, but you're planning to launch a new product, we also recommend automatic targeting. Again, it's always a sense check. What are your customers really doing on the site? Automatic targeting will essentially help unveil some consumer behavior to you. And the goal, again, is to increase traffic, drive more consumers that are looking for your product. So again, our systems help to target relevant keywords or products automatically, lead to the highest conversion in terms of highly visible placements. And what we want seller to action upon is essentially to decide the budget and the bid. And I'll take you through that. So with your advertising goal in mind, there are 5 steps to start automatic targeting sponsored products. Firstly, of course, you want to create the campaign. Secondly, I want you to choose a bidding strategy. Third, set up the ad group. And of course, choose relevant products that will go into the ad group. And lastly, set up bids and understand the targeting methods within sponsored products automatic targeting. So from here on, it will be a step-by-step. Please be patient, and also please take any kind of photos that you find interesting. So when you go onto your advertising console on Seller Central, you click Create Campaign. Again, I'll take you through a live demo later, but this is just a preview. So you'll come up with 3 tiles: sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored display. Click on sponsored products, essentially to kickstart your first SP campaign. So the very first step into creating a campaign name, what we recommend essentially is to keep a naming convention that you can easily track. So understand you're new, but eventually within 2 weeks, you'll want to create manual campaigns, you want to create highly effective, specific kind of targeting. So you have many, many different campaigns. So you need to have campaign names that you can easily track to see what is working and what is not working. So essentially, for example, if you sell shoes, you'll want to list out your product group, like sneakers, what kind of campaign you're doing, SP Auto, and maybe this is a new launch, so you write down new launch. So this is just to keep your reporting easy and your tracking easy later. Secondly, I think the next step would definitely be to set a campaign time frame. So here, I think something very important. You want to set a start date, so for example, today. But in terms of end date, we highly recommend you put no end date, always on, so that the system essentially accumulates data and match the traffic accurately to help you increase sales. And there's multiple internal research to prove that if you keep your campaigns always on, it leads to much higher efficiency. I would suggest that only very seasonal or limited edition products you can set an end date. Otherwise, our recommendation is to set no end date. The second recommendation is that we don't recommend that you start and stop your campaigns very frequently. Like you might say, nobody browses at night. Like maybe I should just turn off my campaign at night. We don't recommend that. Again, you never know, right? I think the idea of automatic targeting is to find out how and where people look for your products. So we don't recommend that you start and stop your campaigns all the time. It's more likely that it's more efficient to do it always on. The next, definitely, I think most people will be interested in is to how to set an average daily budget. So the daily budget is essentially the amount you're willing to spend on this campaign each day. And it's calculated as an average over a calendar month. So essentially, what we will put in here, for example, is $20 a day. And over a calendar month of 30 days, what Amazon will charge you at the end of the month is $600. So 20 times 30 equals $600. We will not charge you higher than $600. But the actual daily cost, CPC, will fluctuate with a maximum increase of 25%. So the question is, how much should I actually set? And I think sellers always ask, right, what is the daily budget to set? Again, it's up to you as a seller. Like, again, you have full control. It's a self-service solution. There's no mandatory minimum or maximum. You can adjust it whenever you want. However, this is just a guidepost. So how do you set a daily budget? So I think it's good to come in with an objective, an advertising objective for your new products. How many daily clicks do you want to get? So here I would say I'll set a daily click of 20 to 25 clicks a day. On average, conversion is about 5%. So subsequently, from 20 to 25, again, that would lead to probably about 5. So there's also estimated cost per click. So on average, you'll see on Amazon that cost per click ranges between like $0.5 to $2. Of course, it can go higher and lower, but that's the average. And that leads to about a daily budget of 50 USD. We're not saying that you must set 50 USD daily. This is a general kind of like mind frame of how you should create the daily clicks, daily budget. And essentially, your estimated CPC of $2 will lead to a daily budget of 50 USD. So post the daily budget, you just want to click automatic targeting for your first campaign for new sellers. And I think the second important point will be to choose your bidding strategy. So there are 3 types of bidding strategy in Amazon. So firstly, there is dynamic bids down only. So this is when essentially Amazon will adjust your bid to no higher than the bid that you're going to set. So the default bid is 0.75. It will adjust only downwards. There's dynamic bids up and down. This is what I would call a slightly more aggressive bidding strategy. So you really want to win the product placement slot. Again, the system recognizes that you want to bid up and down, meaning that it will adjust your bid 100% upwards to win the slot. Again, as I mentioned, daily, the bidding will fluctuate, but at the end of the month, for example, if you set $20 for 30 days, they will not charge you higher than $600, for example. And lastly, it will be fixed bids. So essentially for fixed bids, we will use the exact bid that you put in that box over there and not do any other adjustments. We won't change your bid in the instance of a likelihood of a sale. So essentially you're saying that this is the maximum amount that I'm going to pay, and that's the maximum and minimum amount that you're going to bid for the advertising slot. So moving to the bottom section, this is where there's the default bid. And of course, there's also a section where you can adjust bids by placement. So there are 2 suggested bid settings. So the first default bid setting is essentially refer to the recommended bid amount in the default bid. Later on, I'll take you through the advertising console, but as you filter in your products, your ad groups, Amazon will suggest a bid to you. There will be a range, for example, between 50 cents to $1. And they'll put essentially kind of a suggested bid, for example, of 0.75. So we recommend that you add 10 to 20% higher than the recommended bid so that you increase the amount of placement. So you're being slightly more aggressive than what Amazon is suggesting for you to win the placements. The second alternative, and I recommend this only after you've run the first automatic campaign for 2 weeks, is to bid by placement. So once you've run the automatic campaign for 2 weeks, what you're going to get is information on which placement is the highest converting for you. So the report might show you actually your highest amount of clicks come from top of search, right? So when you click, again, for example, toys, you search toys, your product appear on top of search, and most people click on that product placement. You'll find that that's the most effective placement for you. Then you have the flexibility to increase your bids for top of search placement. So you can increase up to 100% all the way to 900%. So again, this is a recommended only for manual targeting. So for example, in terms of default bid, currently it says 0.75. If you want to pursue strategy number 2, you just put 0.75. And then you put in plus 100% for top of search or product pages. But again, this should be informed once you have data of your own for the past the first 2 weeks. The next step would be to create the ad group. So this is really easy. Basically what you are selling, for example, if you're selling shoes, one question we always get is, okay, I'm selling shoes, but I have 40 different shoe colors. How do I put them in an ad group, right? So essentially what you want to do is to put a combination of products that belong to the same category, same features, and similar price into the ad group, put all these ASINs into the same ad group, and run the automatic targeting. So what the automatic targeting will tell you is, you have red, blue, green, yellow. It will tell you which of these colors are people clicking the most on, and then you can invest more behind that color in that manual targeting in subsequent campaigns. So as I mentioned, if you sell shoes, you want to lump sneakers, all color in one ad group, maybe high heel shoes in other colors in another separate ad group. So you find out what is working for each different product category. Yeah, and the second thing is most people actually just input, I'm going to add in like all my different products. They don't really kind of explore the tab there. But actually, if you look at the tab there, it shows suggested. By default, it will list your newest listings, so the newly created listings, right? And people automatically just put into ad group. But we actually recommend that you select the suggested tab, because those listings that appear under the suggested tabs are actually what Amazon considers are your most optimized listings. They are 16 times more likely to convert versus like, maybe just uploading any random ASINs into the ad group. So we highly recommend that you click on the suggested. It's also a good indicator for which of your listings are not optimized enough. So if, for example, you create 5 listings and you realize, like, for example, your blue sneaker doesn't appear there, you might want to take a look at that listing and review the content and maybe just optimize that listing. So under automatic targeting, there's also an option, apart from setting default bid, you can set bids by targeting group. So there are 4 targeting options under automatic targeting. There's a combination of both keywords and products. So you'll see close match and loose match. Those are keywords based, and substitutes and complements are product based. And you can adjust your bid according to keywords or products. And what do I mean by that? So essentially, it's how the customer behaves when they search for the product on Amazon. So do they search by keywords? Do they search by products and product detail pages? So for example, you're selling a wireless mouse. For close match and loose match, a customer will search for close match. What you're assuming is that customer will literally search wireless mouse, and everyone is going to search that. But actually, that's not often the case, right? Sometimes people just search for mouse. I'm looking for a mouse. So you can adjust your bid for a broader kind of a keyword, so that's under loose match. You might also find that actually consumers search by product. So they come in already knowing, I want to buy a Logitech mouse, right? So we can also target by product. So some consumers are actually looking, for example, a Bluetooth mouse. But you might actually want to appear under the Bluetooth mouse to get people to reconsider, do you really want to use a Bluetooth mouse or do you want to use a wireless mouse? So that's under substitutes. Or you can also choose to ensure that your sponsored products also appear with complementary products. So for example, a user might be searching for a Razer keyboard, for example. Then you'll appear as a wireless mouse as a complementary product. Again, I recommend that as a new seller, you've never set up campaigns before, just choose all 4 targeting types, right? As you see previously, the default setting is that all 4 will be chosen. And then again, post 2 weeks of your automatic targeting campaign, you'll find out which targeting type is the most effective for you, and you can adjust your bid subsequently. So we've come to the live demo stage. So I'll quickly toggle over to the live demo. And sellers who have their laptop, if you're interested, you can even open up your laptop. I can walk you through setting up of the campaign live. if you're open. Otherwise, you can just take pictures. So this is essentially the advertising page within your Seller Central. This is my mock account, but essentially when you click on advertising and you click on campaigns, it will lead you to this page. This is your ad console. This is what we call the advertising console. Here again, as I mentioned, you'll be able to track your spend, sales, ACoS, etc. And you'll want to click on this blue button, which is create campaign. And essentially when you create campaign, hold on. As I mentioned, it leads to the 3 kind of sponsored ads that you can choose. So we'll click on sponsored products and this will appear. So how to create, and I'll take you through from top to bottom, how to create your first automatic campaign. So the setting has changed. I think sellers are a bit older. It used to, appear with campaign name. Now it starts with ad group settings. So no worries, we'll just create an ad group. So you'll see from my products here, as a background, I'm selling shoes as a test product. So I have red shoes, black shoes, golden shoes. So for example, I'll just put in all of my products under shoes, SP Auto, new launch. So that's my ad group name. And then under products, you want to select the products. So as I mentioned here, the default setting is always newest first. But you want to click on suggested. Oh no, it's not refreshing. Okay, so currently it's not working. But basically, it will lead to the different ad products. And you can click on the ad products and it will appear on the right-hand side that you want to advertise. And then subsequently, we will go to the targeting option. Again, choose automatic targeting. And then we will want to set a default bid. Usually, they'll suggest a default bid. I think, let me see. Okay, so maybe subsequently I'll refresh the page. But essentially what Amazon does is that it gives you a range between 0.5 cents to $1. You'll want to increase it by 10 to 20% here in default bid. And as I mentioned earlier, you can select this option where it will show you the targeting groups and you can adjust subsequently by the 4 targeting groups. Is it close match, loose match, substitutes, or complements? But as a default, we'll just put the same amount for all 4 for your first campaign. So we'll select default bid, increase 10 to 20% in terms of the recommended bid given. You'll see here that there's negative targeting, negative keyword and negative product targeting. So for new sellers that are setting up your very first campaign, we don't recommend that you do negative targeting. But what it means is that essentially you want to take out keywords or products that are completely irrelevant to your category. But for new sellers, you don't have any historical data on what is irrelevant, right? So for the first 2 weeks when you set your auto targeting, this is optional. But subsequently, when you do manual targeting, you might find that some keywords are irrelevant, so you can put it under negative keywords or negative products. Subsequently, you'll want to choose the bidding strategy. As I mentioned, I think for new sellers, we highly recommend that you start with down only for essentially your very first campaign. So the bids won't be adjusted up 100%, down 100%. It will only be adjusted down when it's least likely to lead to a conversion. Essentially, it's a slightly more conservative bidding strategy. After 2 weeks, you can adjust. Essentially, this is adjustable anytime you want, of course, but we recommend a 2 weeks lead time to accumulate data. So after 2 weeks, you might find that the down-only strategy is not working. Then we recommend that you do fixed bids. So again, first is down only. 2 weeks, if it's not working, do fixed bids. And only after 2 weeks, you'll find that there are certain keywords or products that are genuinely working for you, leading to a lot of clicks. And that you will put it into a separate ad group. So you pull out all your hero ASINs, your hero keywords and products into a separate ad group, and you'll do dynamic bids up and down only for your hero ASINs. Yeah. So below this option, as I mentioned, this will replace your above 3 options. After 2 weeks, again, once you've taken a look at your reports, you might find that there are certain placements that are working for you. Then you can increase your bidding strategy by, for example, 100%, 10%, 900%. So after speaking to one of my sellers last time, for example, during Prime Day, for example, you've accumulated enough data leading up to Prime Day, they actually did a very interesting bidding strategy, which is they realized that top of search was working the best for them. So they increased top of search by almost 800%. And that is essentially putting all your money into top of search and ensuring that you capture every placement at top of search because you know that it's working for you. Yeah, so that's the alternative strategy. And we've reached the end, but lastly, under settings, as I mentioned, you want to have a campaign name that you can easily track and monitor for performance after the 2 weeks. Under portfolio, just put no portfolio for now. Of course, you want to put the start date, for example, today, you want to start today. And end date, again, highly recommend putting a no end date. So after 2 weeks, you can re-look at this campaign, right? But in the meantime, you shouldn't set an end date. Of course, country, United States, for example. And then daily budget, as I mentioned, it's between $10 to $50, I recommend. As a first time, you might want to start between $10 to $20. So essentially, in a month, you'll be spending between $300 to $600. Essentially to adjust your bids within that 2 weeks. So the daily budget, again, as I repeated, you will not spend more than this within the 30 days, for example. So Amazon will not charge you beyond $300 or $600 if you choose to set between 10 to 20. So after this, you'll click launch the campaign, and then you would have launched your first sponsored product automatic campaign. It's like very easy, takes a few minutes. It's your very first step into the Amazon ads world. And that brings us to the end of the live demo. I think just as a recap, if you want, you can whip out your phones now and just take pictures so that you don't forget, the different steps to create the auto campaign. This is our version of a handout. Yes.
So if we're checking the product, it's like I'm checking when the new country, not the US or whatever. Then so would it be the case where we did this much, then we are shown in the let's say the product search ad, the product ad, then when buyers do not click on it, then they close the ad, we deprioritize. What I mean the danger of us just of algorithm being like deprioritizing us our ad. The point where we don't get entries?
No, not for automatic targeting. So, for example, if you set up your automatic targeting, it appears on top of search, but customer clicks away. What you'll get at the end of 2 weeks is that they will rank your top of search placement as the lowest converting option. But they will not deprioritize your ad. They'll merely reallocate your bids to higher performing or higher likely converting placements. So you might find that actually your competitor detail pages are more converting for you. What the system will do is automatically field your placements in those positions that are more likely to convert. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The second page to take picture of, in case you want to remember. Okay, we're reaching the Q&A section soon, very fast. Okay.
Currently, they will be charged for the listing. Which country are they? SDD or USD?
USD. Yeah.
Selling in Singapore?
But you are creating an account that is selling in US, you will be charged in USD.
If you are selling in Singapore?
In Singapore, then it will be SGD. Yeah, that's a domestic selling. Okay, so very quickly, I also want to touch on some ads click credits for new sellers. So if you haven't launched yet, you're going to launch your first SP campaign, you can get up to $250 click credit. I also recommend that you take photo here, so you know, like you can find out how you are eligible to redeem the $250. So for advertisers that are selling in 16 marketplaces, we can give you the list subsequently, but it should cover most regions already. And you are unlaunched on sponsored ads. The first step is to create your first sponsored products campaign. Easiest, again, I mentioned automatic. Secondly, the requirement is that you set no end date to your campaign. And then afterwards, you'll be credited with $200 click credit in your billing cycle. So I'll also show you how to check under which tab, like whether to see you've gotten the $200. And then the second part is actually only for 4 marketplace advertisers. So if you're going to launch your brand and sell it in US, UK, Denmark, and JP, then there will be 2 steps. So the first is that you need to launch your first buyable ASIN, and this is up until 1st of April this year. And you must launch a sponsored products with a FBA campaign with no end date. And then subsequently, you'll get $50 click credit or an equivalent amount in local currency. So the total potential amount you can earn is $250. Yep.
For the first one, it says 16 market and unlaunched sponsored product.
Yeah.
So if you launch in one market, does it mean you're ineligible for the other markets?
Hold on. I think the requirement is that as long as you're selling within the 16 marketplace and you've never launched on sponsored ads before.
No, say I launched it in Singapore, but now I'm launching in the US. Right? There's this credit, or because I launched in Singapore, I'm not eligible to get from the US?
If I'm not wrong, the launch status is on your ads only. If you launch the ASIN but you haven't ran any kind of advertising campaign, in Singapore.
Can I get a credit if I want to launch it in the US? Or is it one cancel the other rest?
Yeah, one cancel the other rest. So how to check if you've received the click credit? So you want to go to Amazon Seller Central, click on Advertising, click Campaign Manager. And so on the leftmost bar, which is this bar, you want to click on the wheel icon. It will say Administration, which is this wheel icon at the bottom. There will be a tab that says Sponsored Ads Billing. And then you'll essentially see a line item there that says click credit, and you see the amount that's given to you. So this is just how to see whether you've received it. And reminder, you'll be credited after you've done the action. So it's not a $200 upfront for you to spend. We will reimburse you with the $200 or $50. Yeah. And also, I know today's session is just a beginner, but I think subsequently we'll be running upcoming ads webinars. So we'll start from beginners, but over the course of the year, we will progress towards full funnel strategy, towards moving from auto to manual. And within March and April, we will move towards bidding, targeting, and budgeting deep dives already. So you can scan the QR code. It happens every Thursday, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Over there, we will also have live Q&A sessions. So you can continuously ask me questions that you might have. We will also extend exclusive invites for upcoming events, more seller meetups. We'll also be planning exciting ads-related events like Ads Week for peak season, Prime Day, BFCM. So you'll get insider information during our webinars. Yeah, so please feel free to register. And of course, please give us your session feedback. How was the session today? Are you satisfied? Share your feedback with us. And before you leave today, I think just take some time to download this Amazon guidebook. So it's a guidebook essentially for a step-by-step guide on how to create sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored display. Yeah, it's a new guidebook we created just last year. So we hope that it will help sellers.
The feedback also, thank you. Not everyone just downloading the guidebook, but please do the feedback too, thank you.
Yeah, and post is open to questions. Yeah. Any questions? Yes.
Just now, there was a button that says portfolio, and you said no portfolio. What does that mean?
Yeah, so essentially it's a way to group your different campaigns. But if it's your first campaign, you don't have to select anything. Just say no portfolio. Yeah.
A campaign is SKU, is that?
Okay. You can, but we actually recommend having more than one SKU. So, for example, like if I'm selling shoes, shoes for example, I think we recommend having like multiple ASINs, so you can find out which ASINs are the most effective in terms of converting to clicks and orders. So, for example, if I'm selling shoes, there's black shoes, red shoes, green shoes. You put them all in one ad group, and then we will essentially, the automatic targeting campaign will tell you, for example, the green shoe, actually people click on it the most. So subsequently, you can pull out the green shoe, and then maybe like your second most performing ASIN is the red shoe. You can pull out the green and red, put it in a hero ASIN ad group, and you can increase your bid for those subsequently. Yeah. If you do one, of course you can, right? But it's also slightly less informative because you're only just selling one SKU. So, yeah, you can.
Let's say that you have red shoes or blue shoes, and if you put conversion from these two, so you separate them out. You put the lady shoe in both of them, or just
You will want to put like, okay, essentially, you should put them all under the same ad group. So lady shoes, green shoes, blue shoes, they're all shoes essentially. So you should actually just lump them all into the first ad group and first automatic campaign. But we only recommend separating if there's a significantly like high performing product or keyword for you. Yeah, for that particular ASIN, I would say.
recommend that keywords may click itself to read certain product.
Again, I think like that's a bit like too top line. Like I cannot give you a definite answer. I think the aim of the automatic campaign will show you which keywords are the highest converting keywords, and you bid for those keywords in your manual campaign. Yeah.
To add on a bit to that as well, right? If you have duplicated keywords, so let's say from automatic campaigns, let's say you've identified 2 to 3 keywords that are very high performing for this SKU, then you create a manual campaign, right? But you still want to run your automatic to seed for more keywords, but you don't want to double bid, right, for the same one. What you can do is you can exclude them as well. In the automatic campaign. So let's say maybe in the automatic campaign you realize red shoes very high performing, so you pull it out already. Then in your automatic campaign, to prevent it from running, you can exclude red shoes.
Yeah. Under negative targeting. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so just now I mentioned there's negative keyword targeting, negative product targeting. I think that's a perfect example. Yeah, so after 2 weeks, you see red shoes performing well. You want to pull out red shoes, you put it in a second manual campaign, right? Then in your automatic campaign, which we still recommend that you keep always on, you can put under negative keyword red shoes so that you don't bid twice. Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
So are you saying that after automatic campaign, then we go to manual, we still keep automatic, put this together forever?
Not forever. I mean, we recommend. It's of course up to you. You can stop it. It's your own choice. We recommend that you keep automatic targeting always on. As I mentioned, because consumer behavior fluctuates like across a period of time, right? Like closer to peak season, initially they could be browsing, but then towards maybe like discount season, they might be already like clicking on competitor or your products. So you might, for example, want to identify, oh, they're consistently clicking on my biggest competitor, then I'll want to bid aggressively for competitor placements in your manual campaign. So I think manual campaigns are, quite flexible. You can adjust your bid. If they're not working, you can turn them off. But I would say when I look at sellers, usually their automatic campaigns are actually the most efficient campaigns because it just automatically follows where the consumer behavior is going. Yeah.
I'm positioning myself as a reseller here, so I don't have a particular brand on my own. So in this case, this strategy or this sequence, right, will just stick to what I can do for my own ads, right? I think you say that I don't have a particular brand. I distribute some certain common household brands, and maybe I have some sole distributor from Korean side. So why still follow this, or is there changes for?
Yeah, so for resellers, you can only run sponsored products campaign. You cannot run sponsored brands or sponsored display, so that's one. Secondly, I think, yes, you can still bid for your SP automatic campaign. I think we always get questions from resellers, should we be advertising, the flexibility is yours, I think. It still runs as per usual for you. I think when it comes to your advertising placements, it still depends on your listing. Like, do you have the information? Are people looking for the bullet points that you're talking about? Your A+ content, like, the quality images in your listings, are they good enough? It's a level playing field. So as a reseller, no problem. You can still continue to run as SP automatic campaign or manual campaign as well.
For distributors, I can go for the sponsored brands.
No, not sponsored brands, only sponsored products. Yeah.
It depends whether you own the brand, the brand name. So if it's registered into brand registry, then you have access to sponsored brands.
When you say own, what?
If you own the trademark and the trademark for the brand, and you enroll it into Amazon's brand registry. Yeah. Otherwise, then you will have to be more aggressive with sponsored products. Yeah.
Any other questions? There are no. Yeah, of course.
Just specific to myself.
Yeah.
So I sell well-known brands.
Mm.
Okay. So from what I've heard, I just want to clarify whether I got what you said correctly.
Yeah.
So I'm really not interested in getting information I already know.
Okay.
That's right. So let's say I do a manual bid,
Mm.
top of search, because I work with a budget.
Mm. Yeah.
So I'm already given the budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't change that. Okay, so manual bid, top of search, and I choose the SKU with the highest margin.
Mm.
I bid like crazy 800, 900.
Yeah.
So I'll always be at the top of that particular product. Did I get that correct?
It's the highest likelihood. You will win the placements, but it also depends on, it's an auction-based bidding, right? So if your competitors are also doing the exact same action as you, okay, then most likely you will win the placements that you are going for. Yeah.
Right. So and top of search, it's not just one person, right? It's how many people? Three, four?
Usually 4, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Monitoring of the ads, do you all recommend like using the DPC Ninja or any other like Excel spreadsheet to actually monitor all the improvement? Because I realized the backend for Amazon is actually very difficult to monitor and make a lot of judgment on that.
I think, yeah, thank you for your question. We will not stop you from using any third-party solutions. If anything, if it benefits you, we do recommend that you try their services. Understand that we have quite a lot of reports. It's a bit like, a bit much to kind of onboard yourself with. We will have a reporting workshop, like for sellers that are interested. But to answer your question, if you find value in the third-party like partners, you are free to try. Yeah. Thank you.
for the third-party providers, right, especially if you're using automated solutions, what I would recommend, especially if you're just starting out, don't completely rely on it as well. So find some of the recommendations that she has earlier on the strategies she has and use the automation to execute that. Then subsequently build your own rules and automation with the third-party tools. I wouldn't recommend fully going to it as when you first started, right? Because they did not have sufficient data to understand how your brand works with them consistently and the customer's reaction. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's the last question. Sorry, there's okay. One last question. Yeah. After that, we can.
Touching on automatic and manual. So just now you said that automatic actually the system will actually crawl around and then detect, and then your ads will be on your competitors' site. So but for manual it will also be the same thing, right?
You are right at the beginning. So automatic essentially decides for you, right? The system just automatically allocates like the ad where they feel it's most likely to lead to clicks and orders. For manual targeting, you are the one that are going to execute essentially where your ad appears on. That's why it's like manual. So after the automatic targeting results in a way, after 2 weeks come out, then you'll find out, for example, maybe your competitor product is the highest clicks, highest orders. You will then create a campaign that will manually place bids for competitor placements, for example, product placements, similar product placements. Yeah. So it's more manual, it's not automatic. Yeah. Yeah.
So, continuing to the same question, the automatic, does it have AI learning? So, the longer you put, does it like over time?
Yes, it does actually. So it's a Amazon algorithm. So I also don't have a success formula for you, but I think that's why we recommend setting no end date. So it continuously learns like where consumers are clicking an order, like an ordering. That's why we recommend setting no end date, so that it learns over time like where the clicks and orders come from. And of course, we also recommend a appropriate duration, which is 2 weeks. Like you shouldn't stop it after like 2 days because it would have not detected like much consumer behavior. So we have attribution data. So on average for sponsored products, the attribution data is 7 days minimum, where essentially the consumer, they will browse. They might click on different competitor products, different product detail pages. So it accumulates all that data on the consumer journey path, and it leads to the specific placement that leads to the highest clicks, basically.
In case, I might as well just do a combination with automatic sponsor then with negative keywords. Then whenever they have some irrelevant ones or those low performing ones, I can just add on to it. Wouldn't need to do that.
I wouldn't really recommend that because like Katie mentioned earlier on, right, consumers' behavior may change over time as well. So let's say if you completely exclude this keyword and it's not included in any of your manual campaigns, you may never know if this keyword eventually becomes a success for you at some point in time as well. So I would only recommend doing negative if let's say you've put out a successful keyword and you're using it in a manual campaign. Or alternatively, you're very confident this keyword will never work for you, then obviously you have the choice to exclude as well. Yeah. Hope that clarifies.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's I think we'll take one last question. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So for negative keywords, right, does it have like a bleed-through effect? So for example, if I put like the word natural as a negative keyword, will that exclude things like organic or other similar keywords from my automatic campaigns?
For the negative keywords, you can, if I'm not wrong, you can choose the type of match that you want as well. So yeah, so it's similar to the matching types. So you choose the exact product. Yeah.
Yeah. So within negative keyword targeting, there's also the matching style. So close match, loose match, like the exact word organic, or you want like loose term of organic, even though I don't really know what it is, but there's you can select. Yeah.
So for example, if I have certain keywords like in automatic that I find that are working really well, and I pull them out into manual, will they still get bidded for in automatic, or how do I segment those out so I don't bid against myself?
Yeah, so you should put the hero ASINs under negative keyword for your auto campaign once you've pulled it out into the manual targeting campaign. Yeah, so that is the one case where we highly recommend negative keyword targeting. Otherwise, if you have not a very clear idea of what are negative keywords for you, we recommend that you just leave it. Yeah, I'm sorry, but
Just put it on negative.
yeah, only for hero keywords that you saw high click, high order, highest conversion, then you put negative. Yeah. Okay, so I think we will end the session here today. Thank you so much for sitting with me through the session. Yeah, please stay tuned, network with your sellers. Please join us on our webinars every Thursday, 3:30. We have some exciting topics coming up, how to create hot ASINs, how to look at competitor bidding. So please feel free to register. Yeah. You got it. Okay.